former campaign manager for a time for RFK Jr., former independent candidate for Congress, former member of Congress, presidential candidate, on and on. Thank you, sir, for coming on. Response to what you just heard about Kennedy, which is Dr. Dalsha, by the way, not the only public health expert saying something like that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not speaking for Mr. Kennedy, but I am familiar with his positions. His goal is to make America healthy again and put people ahead of profit. Now, I understand the concerns that are being expressed, but Mr. Kennedy is not opposed to vaccines. He's for vaccine safety. He's concerned about the health effects of pesticides, about GMOs, which are now populating our agriculture and have been for the last 25 years. You know, if we are what we eat, we ought to be concerned what we're consuming so we know we're going to become. And Mr. Kennedy has raised the issues of safety, has raised the issues of, you know, like Monsanto and Bayer, this weed killer, glyphosate. There was $10.9 billion in legal awards as a result of the court's agreement that glyphosate caused non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. What's happening now? Bayer, Monsanto, they have a provision in the current agricultural bill to give them a hold harmless provision for all the other lawsuits that are coming as a result of this cancer-causing ingredient. So Kennedy's position is to protect the people, to put people above profit. And I think he's not averse to science. I mean, he's a trial lawyer. He's somebody who's got to be fact-based, and I think that he will proceed in that way.
You know, I thought it was interesting, though, that the opposition is not just from doctors like Dr. Dalsha. That I don't know if you saw this today, but the New York Post, the editorial board there, of course, owned by Rupert Murdoch and supportive of Donald Trump, and in his political campaign came out against the Kennedy nomination. Their piece said that the overriding rule of medicine is first do no harm, and we're certain that installing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head Health and Human Services breaks this rule. New York Post. What do you think?
Well, I think that you have to look at this. If we stop asking questions about the chemicals that we consume, about food additives, about the effects of various chemicals on our health, that's part of the evolution of medicine. I mean, they call medicine a practice, right? And if you go back 100 years, what the medicine has improved immensely. I'll give you another example. Take fluoride, for example, which is another debate coming up. Most people aren't aware that years ago, the American people in city after city voted against fluoridation of water. There were concerns about, you know, the chemicals. Today, and I'm betting very few people are aware of this, the National Toxicology Program, which is under HHS, already has a study that suggests that higher levels of fluoride produce lower IQs. And there's a question about the neurotoxicity. Now, fluoride's done a lot of good for reducing dental cavities, absolutely. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a new debate. And America needs that.
Right.
We can never be satisfied.
Will we have it in a confirmation hearing, or will we have it, you know, that's an interesting point you bring up, because to that issue and those studies, maybe they should be discussed, and people should have a chance in the medical community to say, no, that's not true because of this. The other people will make their points, but will that happen in a confirmation hearing? How do you think Trump's going to handle this, not only with Kennedy, but with some of these other nominees, Gates on down? Is he go recess appointment and try to jam them through, or are we going to have the discussions you're talking about?
Well, you know, if we're talking about Mr. Kennedy, I think that between now and the confirmation hearings, there would be, and there should be, a public debate about the health effects of various pesticides, chemicals. And remember, there's very powerful interest groups in big pharma who have controlled the narrative in this country for years, and they make money off of this. Kennedy is not anti-vaccine. He's for vaccine safety. And why wouldn't everybody be for vaccine safety? I mean, we all have to be concerned about what we put into our bodies. And I am for listening to the whole range of science. We shouldn't shut anybody out of this debate. But should we have a debate? America, First Amendment. Let's debate.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.